$14 trillion of global trade exists in a state of continuous motion. Our current economy relies on this constant physical movement to function. This is the result of just-in-time delivery. Instead of maintaining local stockpiles in high-capacity depots, companies coordinate global shipments to arrive at the factory gate precisely when they are needed. The ship effectively becomes a moving storage unit. For this logic to work, the world's cargo must pass through specific shortcuts. 30% of all container traffic is funneled through this narrow physical choke point between East and West. By focusing entirely on the efficiency of a single route, the global market created a vulnerability, ignored until the path was physically obstructed. In March 2021, a vessel longer than the Eiffel Tower lost steerage. It drifted off its line and drove directly into the eastern bank. The ship was wedged across the channel, creating a total blockage. The canal was only wide enough for one-way traffic. With no extra room in this section, there was no physical way for other ships to maneuver around it. The impact was immediate. Hundreds of ships arriving were forced to stop, forming immense backlogs, with nowhere to dock or unload. Corporations found their inventory immobilized at sea, completely disconnected from the factory assembly lines that desperately needed it. A localized incident in one waterway had paralyzed the global supply chain. With the canal closed, shipping lines had to find another way. The only viable option was to abandon the shortcut and sail the long way around the African continent. This route forces ships to travel south along the African coast, doubling back toward Europe. For a standard voyage, this detour adds roughly 3,500 nautical miles. In practical terms, that is an additional 12 days of constant sailing. Navigating the Cape of Good Hope brings ultra-large vessels into some of the most turbulent waters on Earth. The time penalty of the detour is often extended by heavy storms that force ships to slow down even further. In the world of logistics, these extra weeks represent more than a delay. They erode the pricing models that keep global trade profitable. This brings us to cost arbitrage. This is the point where the expense of transporting a product exceeds the value the product generates on the market. Sailing the extra 3,500 miles requires ships to burn significantly more fuel. This increased demand for energy coincided with a period where global energy markets were already beginning to tighten. This chart tracks the resulting price surge. As energy supply lines fractured, the price of Brent crude oil climbed until it reached exactly $124.24 a barrel. High fuel costs, joined by substantial freight premiums, changed the logic of the trade. For many traditional Asian exporters, it was no longer profitable to ship their goods to the West. This created a vacuum. Western retailers still needed goods, but their primary suppliers were now geographically and financially out of reach. This shift in trade routes changed the significance of regional geography. Pakistan found itself positioned between the energy sources of the Middle East and the desperate buyers in the West. Because of its location, Pakistan could facilitate trade without the extreme mileage penalties associated with the full African detour that ships further east were facing. The country also possessed the existing industrial capacity to respond. Their textile factories were already equipped to produce high-demand goods at a scale that could immediately offset the missing shipments from further east. Pakistan's rise wasn't based on a single factor. It was the combination of its proximity to the trade lanes and its ready-to-scale manufacturing that allowed it to step into the market gap. To maintain this advantage, the country began a process of heavy logistical scaling, improving port efficiency to ensure these new buyer relationships would last. Supply chains are built on reliability and established contracts. Once a retailer successfully shifts their sourcing to a new region, they are unlikely to return to their old, more vulnerable patterns. We are now seeing the establishment of a new trade map. These lines represent a permanent shift in how goods move from South Asia to Western markets. While a physical blockade disrupted the old system, the pressure of global demand simply found a new path. This realignment has turned a global supply crisis into a defining economic shift for Pakistan.